Hello. Oh. So I am back from my trip. We've been back for like 2 days now, and I wanted to share some exciting goodies. As you can see, I am wearing a Skagway, Alaska sweatshirt. Yeah, I went to Skagway. It was pretty cool. Also, I look like a rat. Even in the last video that I posted, I looked like a rat, but I swear I can actually look hot. I'll post my video for See, I swear I can look hot. My thing for going to Alaska was I wanted to explore the local yarn shops at the ports I was visiting because I was trying to just look for more info in general about yarn shops in Alaska through like vlogs or TikToks or just like YouTube videos. And I honestly couldn't find a whole lot of information. I couldn't find a whole lot of nothing. I was able to find like the Google listings for each yarn shop with like the reviews and stuff, but nobody was actively making content on these places, which I thought was odd because these are high traffic tourist places. Like millions of people are visiting there a year, and that's according to the locals that work there. So you would think that a lot of fiber artists go to visit these places, and at least some of them would be content creators, which I guess isn't the case. Which, if I'm wrong, please leave me something down in the comments. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot of the time. So I decided for this Alaska trip, my souvenirs would be, or at least my big souvenirs, my big spends would be getting yarn from these local shops, and most importantly, getting yarns that were hand dyed or made in Alaska. So that was kind of like just my general thing I wanted to do. Now, as far as like visiting these shops, I gave myself kind of some guidelines to follow with buying some yarn. So I knew with all the yarn that I was buying, I wanted to make some kind of project with it, preferably a sweater with some kind of motif that would remind me of Alaska. So I gave myself these guidelines to follow. They all need to be the same weight of yarn. They need to be either like hand spun or hand dyed in the port that I was visiting, so the city I was visiting. I really wanted to try to get something that wasn't just yarn from these local shops that were like crochet adjacent, whether that be stitch markers, hooks, patterns, something. Just because I wanted to support these local businesses as best as I could, and I wanted to support the local residents that lived there. So let's start with my first port that I went to, Skagway. Skagway was absolutely gorgeous. The town was small, but the views were amazing. I don't even know how to describe it. Just dropping gorgeous. While I was in Skagway, we did a walking tour, which I 100% recommend. It's called the Good Time Girls and Ghost Walking Tour. It essentially takes you around Skagway within the point of view of the women that lived there during the gold rush. Definitely recommend. But anyways, the tour guide had mentioned that in the off season, when there are no tourists, 800 people live there, which I thought was crazy. Only 800 people. I went to school with more people than that. So the local yarn shop in Skagway, Alaska, at the port, where the cruise ships stop. It's called Aurora Yarns of Alaska. They had a lot of gorgeous yarns. It wasn't just a yarn shop. They sold other like touristy stuff, but it seemed to have focused on like handmade, local made art pieces. I didn't get any video inside, and you'll notice that for all of the places. I know I really wanted to try to film in each of these shops, but I just felt so weird trying to film in these places. I didn't want to be that person putting a camera in everyone's faces. These yarn shops were actually quite busy, busier than I expected. So I guess I wasn't the only fiber artist shopping. But I will be putting up some Google pictures here. People posted some really good pictures off of Google, so like I already had a vague idea of the layout of the shop before I even went there. It seems like they work with their main dyer that they work with is called Boreal Artworks yarn. So I did buy yarn from that specific hand dyer. So shopping at this first store set the tone for the rest of my shopping trip. I decided I wanted to do worsted weight yarn. The thing with this yarn, so it was hand spun, I want to say, okay, it said it was made in Peru, but it was hand dyed there in Skagway, Alaska. But this is a Malabrigo yarn, very beautiful. I really loved the colors of this one. It looked a lot like an Aurora Borealis. I personally didn't get to see the Aurora Borealis while I was on the boat, but the Facebook group that I was in for the cruise, a photographer had posted he had taken like pictures of the Aurora Borealis one of the nights, and I just had missed it, and it was like one of those things where you could really only capture it with the camera. But there was some Aurora Borealises while we were there. And so I knew I just wanted to get something to kind of resemble that. I love Aurora Borealises. I think they're gorgeous. Now, the second yarn that I got, it's by the same hand dyer, the Boreal Artworks. This one is actually, and I realized this when I was like looking through all the yarns. This one is actually a chunky weight yarn, but it is very close to being a worsted weight yarn, so I'm not super worried of it. This color reminded me a lot of like the nature that I had been seeing, the waters, the glaciers, the trees, the skies, like this green. It has like different colors blended within it. There's like some browns and stuff. It's just a really gorgeous color. And this is the shop where I probably bought like the most like accessories from. I got these really cool like clay handle hooks. These are handmade by a local artist in Skagway. I thought they were really cute and I was like, why not? I'm all about supporting like local businesses, local artists. I got it in the sizes that I use the most. So this green one is a 4.5, and the blue one is a 5 millimeter. So I will definitely be getting a lot of uses out of them because they're the most common sizes that I use. Lastly, from Aurora Yarns, I did find this really cool card deck. Now, I think technically this is made for knitting, but because I've been experimenting with using knitting patterns with crochet, I figured why not? This is a card deck with mini color work patterns on them. And the idea is that you can mix and match them and make a whole bunch of different types of projects with them. They're called the Pacific Knit Co. Ocean 2 Doodle Card Deck, a portable colorwork stitch dictionary. I have yet to open these. I got these because I knew I wanted to make some kind of color work sweater with all the yarn that I bought, and I really loved the ocean motifs in this. And because, Alaska is very marine life centered, I wanted something that showcased the marine life. I'm actually kind of excited to open this. Okay, so I got it opened. They're just like graphs with ocean motifs, so this is perfect. Because look, there's like oceans. The second port that I went to was Juneau. Juneau, Alaska, also very gorgeous. Every place in Alaska was gorgeous. Like this is, I don't know how else to describe it, but just amazing, gorgeous. I want to go back to Alaska because every single place is beautiful. My second place that I went to was Changing Tides Yarn. Changing Tides Yarn was inside a quilt store. It was its own room inside of a quilt store. So it wasn't that it was super hard to find, but like you just kind of had to like look and like find. It also kind of felt like you had to know that it was there to go there. Changing Tides, let me show you. So with me already getting the worsted weight yarn from Aurora Yarns, I knew I needed to get worsted weight yarns going forward. They had a lot of great local dyed yarn options. So I got 3 skeins. So this is a superwash merino. This was dyed in Juneau, Alaska. It is from One of a Kind. So there is this color. This color just had a lot of earthy tones in it, the greens, the browns. I loved how this looked. Very beautiful, very soft, very, very good. I love it. We then have this color. This one had some more jewel tones in it, but I love the blues and the purples. Very pretty. It just reminded me of all the colors I was seeing in Alaska. And then my third yarn. This is a little bit more of a special yarn. It is a yak silk. I love the color of it. Very green. There was a lot of greens and blues in Alaska, so I tried to focus a lot on the greens and blues within my yarn. So these were the 3 skeins that I got from Changing Tides. Okay, so this is my non-yarn item that I got from Changing Tides. These are stitch markers. They were handmade in Alaska. They are little wooden discs with some designs burned into them. I thought they looked really cool. They say like Alaska. This one has like a paw print on the back of it, but they say made in Alaska and like constellations and stuff. They didn't have a lot of like handmade tools like Aurora Yarn Shop did, which is fine. They had like clover hooks and they had knitting needles and stuff. So they still had like regular crochet and knitting stuff, but I was focusing more on like unique stuff. So now we are at the last port stop, which was Ketchikan. Ketchikan was super cool. My only downside with Ketchikan is I really wish we spent more time there. Ketchikan, I originally only had one excursion planned, and that was the lumberjack show. And then because we had such a short amount of time at that port, you had to get off the boat super early if you wanted to like explore the town, walk around, and that's what I wanted to do. We were in the port from maybe like 6 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So the boat left in the afternoon, and our lumberjack show started at 11. So we didn't do anything beforehand. We would only be doing the lumberjack show. So me and my fiance, we got off the boat early with the intention of visiting 2 yarn shops, because there was the yarn shop that was 5 minutes away in Ketchikan, and then there was a yarn shop that was 20 minutes away walking. And we had agreed, like, that's fine. We could stop in shops on the way there. We could do some local sightseeing. Like, we did not mind walking the 20 minutes to and from, especially if we were doing all this stuff early in the morning. Like, everything was going to be open early in the morning. And then we'd still have time to come back, do the lumberjack show, get back on the boat. Now we get off the boat and we go to a local coffee shop, get a little drinkity drink. We were about to like set way to the first yarn shop. My grandma gives me a call. She's like, "Hey, we just found this last minute excursion, $40 per person. Like, you should come do it with us." Because I went with my family. And I was like, like, I don't know. Like, we don't have a lot of time. I don't want to spend hours on an excursion. Like, I wanted to like walk around this town, because Ketchikan was a way bigger town than Juneau or Skagway. There was a lot to see and do in just the port itself. So I myself really just wanted to focus on being in the little town. But my grandma's like, "No, like, come spend time with us and your family." This and that. Like, okay, but like, I still want time to shop and like walk around. She's like, "Okay, well, the tour guide told me he's gonna get us back exactly at 10." I'm like, "Grandma, are you sure he's gonna get us back exactly at 10? Because there's the 5-minute yarn shop, and then there's the 20-minute away yarn shop that I want to do." And my whole family knew about my whole yarn adventure thing, so they knew how important like going to these yarn shops were. Like, yeah, like, it's fine, it's fine. We get back to the town at 10:30. So that leaves me only 30 minutes to the lumberjack show. And on top of that, the lumberjack show lets you in 20 minutes before the show. And you want to get in early, apparently, to get the best seats in the lumberjack show. Otherwise, you're sitting in a not good section. And if you know me, I have to have the best of the best. I have to sit in the good section, especially see the lumberjacks. I'm like freaking out. We get off the tour bus. I'm like, "Grandma." She's like, "Mija, it's fine. It's fine." I'm like, "Okay, Grandma." It's fine. I only need to go to one yarn shop anyways. Like, I don't need to go to 2 yarn shops. It's fine. I guess you're saving me money, Grandma. Thank you. So, the yarn shop that is in Ketchikan, that's 5 minutes away from the dock, is called Fabulous Fiber Arts. It is its own yarn shop. It's yarn dedicated. The whole thing was just yarn everywhere. I'll show you the pictures from Google. Like, so many amazing yarns. I had really great conversations with the little old ladies at this place. Loved them, super sweet. Funny enough, when I was picking out the yarn, like we were chatting and I was telling them like, oh, like I'm gonna make a raglan. I bought all this yarn at the other ports. They thought I meant knitting, which is fine. I'm using knitting terms. They start talking about knitting. I'm like, oh, like I actually do Tunisian crochet. Like I'm gonna be doing the raglan using Tunisian crochet. And then they started asking me about it. Like they knew about it, but they didn't really know much about it. So I started talking to them. I started showing them things that I've done. And they're like, oh my God, you're like the Tunisian crochet queen. I'm like, I wouldn't go that far. I know 2 stitches and I've only started Tunisian crocheting like this year. And my goal for the end of this year is to know 10 Tunisian crochet stitches. Okay. Like I can crochet really well. I'll give myself that. But I can only do 2 Tunisian crochet stitches. One of them being the knit stitch. Knit stitch, she's my girl. She's my ride or die because I can make pieces that look like it's knitted without having to knit, and that's my favorite thing. So I was telling her that, and she's like, "No, you need to come back in the off season and teach the locals how to Tunisian crochet. You need to give Tunisian crochet classes." I'm like, she's like, "Yeah, like come visit us, stay at an Airbnb, like we can work something out. Here's my card." I'm like, I work 40 hours a week. I'm sorry. A really sweet offer. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was sweet. I'm like, I can't. I broke one of my guidelines when buying the yarn. Obviously, I was limited on time because of this freaking lumberjack show. So I asked the ladies, I'm like, hey, like, I am trying to find yarn specifically dyed in Ketchikan. And I explained what I was doing. They're like, oh my gosh, we don't have anything dyed in Ketchikan. The closest that you are going to get to being dyed in Ketchikan is something being dyed in Sitka. I was like, okay, I will do it because I needed yarn. And I'm like, I guess I'll just break the guideline for this one thing. It's fine. I got these 2. And what's really cool is that they are hand dyed by a native in Sitka. So the yarn comes from Provo, Utah. It is hand dyed in Sitka. This color is called Pale Moss. Very nice. Also, the yarn is called Raven Frog Fibers. But she was telling me that supposedly there is a story behind each of the yarn names. Just more merino yarn. Okay, so I do apologize for interrupting the video. But after editing and rewatching everything, I realized I didn't show that blue yarn that I purchased in Ketchikan. I'm gonna insert a picture here showing the yarn. So yeah, I don't know what was going through my head and why I didn't show it, but there's the yarn. Now, as far as like the special thing that I bought from this yarn store, they didn't have a lot of like local handmade things, like handmade fiber art accessories, if that makes sense. I did get, though, got this Tunisian crochet stitch dictionary because, like I mentioned, I am trying to learn about 10 Tunisian crochet stitches by the end of this year. And what better way to learn rather than a whole dictionary with it. So that is everything that I bought in Alaska from all the local yarn shops at the ports. I'm very excited that I was able to do this. I really want to explore more of Alaska and explore more of their local yarn shops and share more of it with you guys. If you guys do plan on visiting Alaska, make sure you do visit these local yarn shops. I swear they're definitely worth the visit. Even just go in to say hi and like check out the yarns. They're all very sweet. Every single shop that I visited, all sweethearts. All of them obviously run by sweet old ladies. Like who else? If you guys have visited these shops before, leave it down in the comments. I would love to hear about your guys' experiences with them. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. I will be making a project with all this yarn that I bought. I don't know when I'm going to make this project. I do need to finish a couple of my whips first before I could, in good conscience, start another project, especially because this project is going to be a really special project for me, just because it's going to be like my ultimate souvenir from Alaska. Stay tuned. Be sure to go follow my TikTok. I post regularly on there under the same username as my YouTube name, crocheting while reading. Sometimes I do both. Yes, I do. I'm a multi-talented person. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are amazing. This is so fun. Okay. Bye, guys.